TJ Lynch. He is my favorite bartender in New York City, and he also happens to own my favorite bar in New York City.
Good evening. So, I'll just start out by doing this. So, this is my clog. It's ugly, it's dirty, I won't go into how it smells, and my fiance hates them. However, without my clogs, I wouldn't be able to do my job. In this crazy restaurant bar business that I'm in, you routinely find yourself working between 50 and 80 hours a week on your feet. And being 40, 80 hours on your feet without the proper footwear is more like 180 hours on your feet. So, that being said, in this crazy restaurant bar business that I'm in, I have a friend, Chris. Chris calls me up one day and says, "Hey, would you like to do a cocktail consulting job in India?" And I said, hell yes. So I packed my bag, I packed my clogs, and we ended up getting on a business class flight to India on Emirates. I don't know if any of you have been on one of those, but the next time somebody else is paying for it, I highly recommend it. It's kind of like a really nice apartment in the sky. It's got a great bar, better bathroom than I have here in New York, free champagne. It was lovely. I don't historically take pictures of my food, but on an airplane with food that beautiful, I was like, okay, I'll break the rule. So, after a luxurious 13 hours in the sky, we end up in Chennai, India. And I'm sure there are very beautiful, wonderful, magical, spiritual places in India. Chennai is not one of them. We walk out of the airport in Chennai, and the air hits you in the face, and it's kind of like a combination of something on fire and hot feet. And I didn't know there's like 2 trillion people in Chennai, but all of them hang out front of the airport. So the ride from the airport to the hotel is where we're working is pretty interesting. One, everybody honks in India. The deal is, if you run into somebody, it's your fault. If you honk before you run into somebody, it's not your fault. So everybody honks every 3 seconds. So that's the first thing you hear, is just like constant honking everywhere. And you're like, why is everybody honking? And then our cabbie informed us of this phenomenon. And then we were there 10 days, you never get used to the honking. It's incessant. It's mind-blowing. So, oh yeah, that's also the ride which I saw a family of 6 on one scooter. Didn't know that was possible. Really expanded my realm of possibilities. There are no restaurants really in Chennai. It's either high-end hotels or you play the street meat roulette. Nothing in the middle. Found that out later. And they just make piles of everything, which I found very interesting. There's piles of rubble, piles of trash, piles of bottles. They're all very neat piles, but with that many piles, it just looks like a junk heap. So we get to the hotel. Now, this is the Park Hyatt Hotel in Chennai, which is a 4-star luxury hotel, $157 million hotel, $9 million restaurant. Stunning, like absolutely beautiful. And there are so many managers around. There's the hotel owner, and there's the general manager of the hotel, the food and beverage director for the hotel, the general manager of the restaurant, the food and beverage director for the restaurant, the bar manager of the restaurant. And then, because it was an opening, you have the regional food and beverage director, you have the global food and beverage director, and they're just everywhere. So 2 months prior to this, when we agreed to the gig, we came up with a cocktail list of 18 cocktails. The hotel chose 12 for us to feature. We sent them the specs, we sent them our ingredient list, equipment list, training manual, all these things. And the email chain was a mile long with everyone CC'd, everything signed off on. The staff has the training manual, they have all the specs, they've been trained, everything's ready to go. We show up, they've done absolutely nothing. No equipment, no spirits, no fruit, no juice, no ice, no glasses. And a $9 million restaurant. So we basically were just gonna leave. We're like, this is ridiculous. And they insisted we stay. So we spent 4 days rummaging around Chennai trying to find bar equipment. Impossible. So our 10 days of training now became 6. Then we finally got to a point where we could actually maybe pull this off. And then they gave the staff 2 days off. And then now we had 4 days left before the opening to put the entire bar together, train the staff, and be able to produce the 12 cocktails that they had already printed the menus for. So there was no changing anything. So, oh yeah, also, try to find a lemon in India. Good luck. So during our training, the staff, very lovely people, very eager to learn, gracious. But you'd ask them to do something, this is something that I had to learn how to deal with. You'd ask them, hey, can you go find me the lemons? And they do. And the first time it happened, my business partner, Chris, was with me, and I said, hey, can you go get the lemons? And the kid goes like this, and I go, what the hell was that? Did you see that? What does that mean? I have no idea. That basically means, we found this out later, it means I acknowledge what you said, but I'm not going to answer yes or no. Just want to let you know I heard you. Pretty amazing and incredibly frustrating. You get to a point where you become a different person. You literally just yell at them and threaten their job and say if they're not back here in 30 seconds with lemons, they're fired. Then they go, okay, and they go get the lemons. So here it is, opening night. And the owner is very theatrical. He's a lovely man. A bit misguided, but lovely. I guess that's what happens when you have enough money to open a $157 million hotel. So he has this plan for the opening. So he turns out all the lights in the restaurant. He has the entire 800 guests stand in the lobby of the hotel. There's this huge door in between the lobby and the restaurant. So he starts this Indian marching band with dancers and fire breathers, and it was insane. And they all go marching towards the door. This massive 20-foot door opens. And they parade everybody in, marching band first. And it was a circular, open-air, 5-level, 6-kitchen behemoth restaurant. So as the marching band would go by anything, they would go by the bakery kitchen, and the lights would go on, and everybody would sing, like, bakery kitchen! And then they keep going, and they get to, like, the Turkish kitchen, and the lights would go on, and like, Turkish kitchen! And they'd be like, And then they came into us in the middle, and it was just like, Chris and I standing in this little bar in the middle of the whole space, they go, New York bartenders! And like, flames go off, and everybody starts yelling. It was insane. So, the night progresses to be just ridiculous. Nobody orders a cocktail. Like, nobody. And we're just standing there like, all night long. So the next day, we just packed up our stuff, I put my clogs in my bag, and we went home. And to wrap this story up, 2 months later, I get an email from one of our bartenders, a lovely guy named Anupam. And he just wanted to let me know that they had turned the restaurant into a dance nightclub and they serve Red Bull and vodka.